Yes.
All right. Well, Nathan, I'm going to let you take the reins on this one because this is your world. I don't know much about Matt, but tell us.
I haven't even introed, Matt.
Well, go do your intro.
So this is my first time hosting a show, so very scary for me. Our guest, very close friend of mine from the Gold Coast via Geelong and Byron Bay, one of the best BMX. I'm going to start that again. From the Gold Coast via Geelong and Byron Bay, one of the best BM athletes in Australia and the world. In more recent times, due to COVID, he has dabbled in a little bit of reality TV and some social media influencing. To be fair, he cannot wait to get back on the Nitro Circus ramps. Welcome to Skip This Podcast, Matty Whyatt. Hello,
Thanks
Matt.
Thank you. Thanks for
Mate, so is it Matty or Matt?
I was going to start with the toughest question I've got for you today. Is it Matt or Matty these days?
I reckon we'll stick with Matty. I don't know when it turned to Matt, but yeah, we'll go back to Matty.
Well, so let's get into this show because we've had you on the sidelines for a while now. You've been one of our picks that we've definitely wanted to do a show with, and obviously things just haven't lined up properly and all this stuff sort of happened. So I'm going to let Nathan take the list through, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to start from the end, aren't we?
Yeah. So, Matty, I just wanted to check in. You look very happy watching your socials the last couple of months. Tell us a little bit about where life is for you.
Yeah, life's great at the moment. It was definitely a weird 12 months with everything I did, but I don't know, found a good partner and got good little hobbies going on and just loving living on the Gold Coast. And yeah, pretty happy, probably happier than I've been in a long time.
Yeah, I can testify to that for sure because in the episode before this, I just finally told the world about my new girlfriend. So that was pretty exciting. Have we lost him?
He's still there, mate.
Matty?
We lost him.
Shit. Do we talk amongst ourselves? So I will talk. Let's talk amongst ourselves. So
this happens.
This is. Are you sabotaging my first time hosting a show, Luke?
I haven't done anything. I upgraded my internet for this.
I don't think it's a problem at our end.
Let me just check him on the phone.
All right, viewers, just talk amongst yourselves. Listeners. Where's Matty?
Nathan also wanted to record this one for the first time on video.
Yeah, it's just been an epic fail, really. See, look at this angle. Look how crooked my nose is. See, people, when they look at me front on, don't really notice, but I notice it all the time, particularly in mirrors and seeing myself on TV. How do I get that straighter?
I don't know how you do that. Yeah, he's got his 2 cents in.
How do I get back in? Matty says via text. Re-click the link.
Yeah, just click back into it.
Re-click that link. Recline that link. Re-click that link.
Or maybe I might need to invite him.
Here we go. Admit. There he is. He's there. G'day, Matt, again.
Back.
We're back.
I tried to hang up on someone calling me. I hung up on the chat.
No.
Just flick your phone. Flick your phone again. Yeah, and just do it again. I think it'll. Yeah, there we go.
Did you put your do not disturb on?
No, that's a good idea.
I feel like you were just that unhappy with Nathan's intro. You wanted to just do it all again.
That's horseshit. Matt and I have worked together for 10 years. He knows exactly what he's gotten himself into being on this podcast.
All right, there we go. Do not disturb.
All right, we're on.
So, I think what we're saying there, man, I just kind of talked about my love life on the last episode, and I know what a difference being happy with a girl or a guy, for that matter, if that's what you so desire, makes the world. When we first spoke about you coming on this podcast was way back in June. I checked our text message history. It was before Bachelor in Paradise, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, went to air, and we were just kind of talking about action sports athletes and looking for their career path after action sports.
Yeah.
What do you recall of that combo?
Yeah.
Not much.
No, I was in a weird time. I don't remember much from back then. I was in a bad spot then, just waiting for the show to end. Nervous, like trying to sort out what I was doing. COVID, like had all these plans, obviously a bit of touring and then some stuff after the show, all got canned. Didn't know where I was really at job-wise and stuff. And I don't know, it was a bit of a mess, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think having said that, I thought you were more stoic than anything else, because we talked about you wanting to help others. You had a mate, a former BMXer, who'd got himself in a bit of trouble, and it was a guy trying to find his way after his action sports career. And guys like you still have a few more years left to give in action sports and earn a good little paycheck. But COVID's kind of stolen that away from everyone. So how did you adapt?
Yeah, 100%. So I think I've always been into fitness. So the only thing I could kind of do was like resort back to that. And I went and did my PT course, Cert 3 and Cert 4, and kind of learn a bit more about fitness, because I've only know what I've taught myself. And then, I was just going to continue into the fitness industry. But like I said, I ended up in the worst place than I thought with COVID and everything too, because I was hoping to go straight off tour into the fitness stuff and then into some other stuff, and kind of all got canned. And I think probably would have been a good idea to watch back maybe what I spoke about and remind myself what I was talking about, because we all get in a shitty place. And then I suppose I had all these things I wanted to do and help other people and that, but it was hard when I was actually, pretty down myself.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, like when people have struggles, you think about yourself last. It's been a very common theme with our guests, is like you can still be very strong and help other people around you, and all of a sudden you make yourself the bottom priority, and then bam, it hits you, right, Luke?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even going into the fitness industry, I bet that was tough, because that was your sort of into something that could keep you going. But then they did the certain lockdowns, and you couldn't have a certain amount of people anyway. So how was that? Like, that would have been even more crushing.
Yeah, it was never ending. It was like I started the fitness course and then COVID hit. It was like went to online, and I can't learn online. I'm horrible. So I was way ahead of the class when we were in class, because I'm very hands-on. And then couldn't learn probably, and I was just went downhill from there. But I kind of came around and did some boot camps and worked around COVID and was excited. But I don't know, I lost a lot of interest in a lot of things until probably, I don't know, probably meeting Kim, and she's like super business orientated and kind of kicked gear a bit with everything. But I think everyone struggled with COVID, and it was like not knowing, could only train like 10 people at a time at certain points, and then not even that, and then there was no BMX. I'm like, well, I've tried to do something outside of riding, and now I can't do that either. And it was, I don't know, it's tough, but it's all up from here.
Tough time to be launching a business in any industry, let alone fitness during COVID. So props to you for kind of having a crack at that. And I know things are kind of working out in a positive way. You're going to start firing those classes up again and selling a little bit of online stuff.
Yeah, I'll just start getting into the PT, like one-on-one stuff again. Maybe do a bit of like group again, and then just focus on selling a bit of the stuff online, like the booty bands and cheek bottles and a bit of merch. It actually goes all right, and kind of if you can sell that with a bit of a program and help people reach their goals, it's kind of not a bad little business.
Yeah. So we do have to address the elephant in the room here, and that's your reality TV career. That's I know you much better and much longer than what I've seen of you on TV in Bachelor in Paradise and The Bachelorette. After 10 years working together on Nitro Circus. Goldie, I got you to watch both of those programs, albeit briefly. Tell us who you think Matt Whyatt is based on what you saw on.
Well, I mean, it's hard coming from my point of view, because I do work in the industry. I know what these shows are like. So I know that 9 times out of 10, what you see on TV isn't the actual person. And I had a brief sort of interaction with Matty up on the Sunshine Coast when we were up there doing some Hot Wheels stuff.
Yep.
And even from that just brief encounter, I was like, nah, this just isn't, this seems a little bit like, I don't know, played up for TV basically. And like, it was almost like they were producing it into making drama and all that sort of stuff, which I get, that's what the show does. But I guess, I don't know, like because I kind of felt like I knew you through Brownie, like I was always on your side and I was always like watching. It was hard watching when they would try to make you into a bad guy and all that sort of stuff. But I was like, no, I don't reckon he's like that. I could see right through it.
Yeah, and Matty definitely got like two very good edits, which I thought showed the real Matty. Like he was kind of a little bit of an afterthought in the Bachelorette, but he really got to show his kind of full character and his kind of morals and standards in Bachelor in Paradise. And I was very proud of what he did and what he stood for. But then kind of the world kind of quickly came crumbling shortly after that final episode aired, huh, Matt?
Yeah, I think like what I watched back and what I've seen is pretty well myself, and I just stood my ground, which I always do. If I have an opinion of something, I'll stand up and say it. If I think something's wrong, I'll be the one to stand up and say it, and that's what I did on there. And however they edit that together is how they edit together, but they didn't change me or put words into my mouth. Everything I said from myself. And yeah, I'm quite happy with the edit I got, but yeah, it was after. There's always going to be backlash. It's like, I did get a good edit. I look good on TV. And if you've got an ex-partner or someone that's not happy with that, they're going to do whatever they can to bring you down.
I actually feel like, because I probably paid more attention once the show finished into your life and started following you on social media and stuff like that. I actually think that the way you handled yourself afterwards was even better. The fact that you weren't out to apologize to anyone. Like you got the edit you got, which was a good edit. But still, like you had social media fiends just hounding you about certain different things and trying to make you slip up. But the whole time I was just watching you and going, no, he's just owning everything. He's just saying it is what it is. And I am who I am. And I think you actually handled it really well afterwards.
And that's it. That's the only thing you can do. And like, I'll stand my ground. If a rumor's not true, I'm going to stand up and say that's not true. And that's what I did. And if a rumor's true, I'll own it. And I'm not perfect when I'm single and that, but there was cheating.
No one's perfect when they're single.
There was cheating rumors and bullshit and dates lined up and people trying to dates. And it was like within 2 weeks, like I don't give a fuck what I do single. Like with 2 weeks, I'll do what I want. Like if people want to say that's too close, that's their opinion, not mine. But I didn't cheat, and that was the point I was getting across. And I'll just always stand my ground, and I know who I am and who I am as a person. And that wasn't a cheater at that point, and I was going to stand up and say that. And I tried to handle myself the best I could in that situation, but I'm not going to be made out a liar or a cheater. And
fair enough.
Yeah, and I think Matty and I were kind of talking every day in the lead up to that. We kind of knew, or he'd kind of roughly told me how the show finished, but we could never have been prepared for what happened afterwards. But our plan with Nitro Circus was to really ride this momentum. Matt Whyatt has all of a sudden turned into a mainstream personality. He's transcended action sports like few action sports athletes do now in Australia. And we had planned this Whyatt week on Nitro Circus's social medias, and we'd had like 5 brand new Matt Whyatt Nitro Circus clips, and we're going to drop them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday after the airing, because he was a darling. And
I think we were going to ride those coattails as well.
And we were going to podcast with you that week as well. And then you were you were just a mess of a human. And we made sure we all kind of rallied around you, and we put all that on pause because your mental health was way more important in that time. And you were really, really struggling. I think what Luke said, and you really, you took the time to do the right response. You didn't get heated, and you just a credit, man. I think you showed wisdom beyond your ears with all that, beyond your years. So
beyond your ears too.
Yeah. So well done on that. And that's kind of what we wanted to talk a little bit about today's episode, because online bullying is really fucking horrid these days. And just bullying period. I looked up some stats yesterday, like of all the bullying that happens in like the workplace, whatever it might be, in the schoolyard. It's actually 70% of bullying in Australia is on social media websites.
Mm.
Oh, and it goes to show in the situation I was copying all that heat online, but I'd leave the house to go get a coffee and people want photos with you, people talk to you, and it's like, no one's going to say anything to your face in the real world. And I wish I could go through that again now, knowing what I know, and just like brush it off and not even say anything. I wish I didn't even write a comment about the hate or anything, because I knew it was true, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And
those close to you knew the truth too.
Partner I had at the time, Kim, knew it wasn't true and didn't care. I was like, I've learned a lot, and I'd handle it even different next time. I wouldn't even bite into it, but I didn't get heated and stuff. Yeah, but I don't know, I've learned a lot, and it all goes away in a few weeks, and nothing they say even matters. So I think online bullying is just better off ignored.
Yeah, it's so hard to do it. Like I've seen probably obviously through Nitro Circus, I know a lot of public figures. I think a guy like Ryan Williams has really copped a lot of it, and he does a really good job of ignoring it until they kind of go after his girlfriend, and he's kind of does give a response, and it only kind of makes it worse. And it's so hard for you guys because people are fucking assholes out there.
Yeah, it just fuels the fire. You're giving them exactly what they want. If they don't get a response, you've won. But the second they get a response, whether you're firing up, it's an apology. No matter what you do, you're not going to win. You've given them what they want, and that's a lesson I've learned. And it's like, I'm glad I went through it, even though I was like having a shit time. It's taught a lot, and I handle day-to-day problems differently now too, relationship problems, everything. And if you don't bite into things and you calm yourself down and tell yourself you know what you know and you know what's true, then really that's all that matters.
How do you calm yourself down in those situations? Like, what's your coping mechanism? Is it as simple as going to the gym or going for some type of workout? What methods do you put in place?
I think obviously gym's a big one for me, running and stuff, but probably not respond straight away. I still do it sometimes. But I think if you could sit on something for an hour, even even half an hour sometimes, it changes everything. And like my instant response to any heated, arguments, anything is so different an hour later.
Sure. I went to kind of completely off topic, and sorry to make this about me. I've been having some back problems. And so I just wanted to get this back surgery done. And my doctor and physio said, just go and see this sports physician and see what he has to say before I write you the referral to go and have this back surgery. And so I went and saw this guy. I spent an hour with him, and I was like, my mum calls me and says, how'd it go, Nath? And I'm like, I hate him. He called me fat, basically. He basically fat shamed me. And this was like straight after, and I was like really upset. He's like, oh yeah, you've got to lose a couple centimeters around your belly. And I was like really heated. Like I didn't say anything to him, but I really complained. And then like the next morning I was like, I fucking really needed to hear that.
You would never expect that from going to get your back fixed up. Mate.
But he guaranteed me, he said, lose 10 kilos and you'll lose 50% of your pain. So I've lost 2 kilos, but that's, again, it's not about me. Back to where we were at. So,
we got a little.
Hello.
Get Clive.
My dog's in the background somewhere terrorizing my little son. But
would you do a reality TV show again?
I would do something like The Block, because I think any of them, you can come out bad no matter what you do. I'd handle everything differently this time, so I just wouldn't do a dating one again. But yeah, it's a good fun. You meet some good people, and they would pretty much do anything but a dating show.
Was Bachelorette better or worse for like online?
Better than Batch in Paradise.
Yeah, like the backlash. Did you get any backlash from Bachelorette or anything like that?
I didn't get much airtime. Like I had dates with Angie and stuff, and like had a good connection with her, but none of it got aired because, I suppose, too boring.
Yeah.
You're just a good guy.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You look at like, because I obviously watched both of those shows for the first time due to Matt, and they're in the.
Mate, you watched them anyway.
No, I did. I did not. I did not. You know I didn't, Luke.
No,
but
bullshit.
so it was like after the Bachelorette, like I really enjoyed Kieran, and I, like the rest of Australia, fell in love with Tim. And then it came to Bachelor in Paradise, and I now despise Kieran, and I don't rate Tim at all. And so my opinion didn't change of Matt because I knew Matt. So that's my opinion of these two guys who I've never met in my life, just watching two shows. The truth of the matter is it's somewhere in the middle, and it just goes to show like how hard a reality, I use inverted commas, can manipulate the situation. And I know you and Tim are on decent enough terms, and you told me like we talk about like Tim gave you a beautiful apology on the island before he left. None of that gets played because that puts the fire out. Yeah. And I think one thing that's really, really pissed me off in like the last couple of months is there's a particular podcast that just fuels the flames of all this stuff. And I'm not going to mention them by name, but it was the podcast that really kind of set the wheels in motion for all that shit. And I feel so sorry for like one of your exes just being ambushed, like a recorded phone call. And you like, what happened was like this chick put two most recent ex-partners on air. Like, what good can possibly come of that? Like, any person in the world, you get the two most recent ex-partners together, there's not going to be a nice – your ex-partners for a reason. There's not going to be a nice thing said about you. And I think, like, she says, oh, you're public property now because you've been on these shows. Like, that's wrong. That doesn't make it right.
Nah,
like, you shouldn't – like – some things should be kept private, especially when you're quoting anonymous sources. Like that's the biggest crock of shit. Like
that, I don't know. I wish I was in this the mindset I'm in now back then, because I would have laughed at it. Yeah, everyone knows your ex or your second ex. Like, no one's perfect. No one's got perfect relationship history. Everyone's got that whatever. If you get any of them on any sort of podcast, radio, anything. They can make anything bad, but most people knew that, and I think I beat myself up a bit too much about it and letting it get to me. Where rightly, I would laugh it off. I'd be like, keep chatting to yourselves. I don't give a fuck, really.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, I mean, that's not journalism, you know. Like,
no, I feel like that's the worst kind of. I mean, I'm going to use the term journalism, but it's not journalism. It's the worst kind because all they're doing is trying to bring someone else down to make themselves like bigger and grow. And it's just, it's the lowest form of media, I think.
And the thing is with that type of stuff, so it ends up on like, you talk about trash and gutter journalism, like at the top of that list is the Daily Mail. So what happens is that podcast ends up on Daily Mail. And then, so that is what fuels all these people behind the private Instagrams and the burner accounts that attack people like Matt, that attack both of your exes, that attack people like Kieran. And it's just like, it's just so wrong. Like it's a fucking suicide epidemic of catastrophic proportions in Australia. And like, I talked to a few people and said, oh, we're doing this online bullying episode with Matty. And they're like, oh, Brownie, you're a bit of a bully online, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, but I kind of own all my stuff. Like I'll make fun of a stupid comment on Donald
Trump. I feel like
Trump.
you go after bullies.
Yeah.
I feel like you're like the Robin Hood of online
bullying. I troll trolls.
You troll trolls. And that's the thing. Like you're calling them out on their shit.
And if it's friendly banter and people know, like everyone knows your banter is friendly banter, there's a complete different than attacking someone. Like it wouldn't be right just to cut friendly banter out because the world would be boring.
Australia would be fucked.
Literally. But actually attacking people and going after things when you know it's getting to them. If you continuously nailed someone about the same problem over and over and you knew it was affecting them, then you're bullying them.
Exactly right. And that's why, like, I don't rate how Kieran looked, and I've heard some other things about him that I don't like. But I'm not on his social media calling him some of the names that he gets called on. It's disgusting. And now we're going to work with him. And any updates on the potential punch on?
Yeah. I haven't heard much.
Let me quickly set the table. So obviously,
I did see this. I saw it.
I don't know how many of our listeners are aware, but Matty and Kieran had a kind of pretty big rivalry on Bachelor in Paradise. They don't see eye to eye these days, but they're not enemies either. And using the power of the blue tick on Instagram to good, they're going to do a charity boxing match when COVID restrictions clear. And I think it's just such a noble thing for them, for these two boys to do. Who are you going to raise charity for, Matty?
I want to do some sort of athlete recovery, whether it's Rona's fight or just something that gives back to people in the sports that I grew up doing. I think it's a big thing for me.
And how hard was that? Like, how much did you have to think about signing up and working with, like, for lack of a better word, your enemy? Hey, Kieran.
I just jumped on the opportunity straight away. It's like a boxing match, we beat ourselves up for a living on our bike. So even no matter how much he trains, comes in hard. I'm not scared of a punch. So that was pretty easy. And when it was like, let's do it for charity, and I did think about mental health, but I think he jumped on that anyway. Yeah. And then it was easy for me to pick athlete recovery because we're all riddled full of injuries, and sometimes we get unlucky and have bigger injuries we need financial help with. And that's huge for me to give back to them people and help them.
Well, inadvertently, you are helping mental health as well, because I can only imagine what an athlete who can't work anymore would be feeling like.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what COVID is right now, short term. But I know, Matty, we know guys that have had career-ending injuries. We know guys who have died, unfortunately. Yeah. That's the reality of it. And you haven't been without your injury problems as well. Like, you've had huge surgeries. Yeah. How did you cope? How did you get through those? Like back in when you kind of missed a year or two of touring. How hard was it to get out of those holes mentally and physically?
The physical injury is easy to come back from. It's the mental side. Out of work, out of doing something you love. I don't know. You can't just go jump on the shovel and earn some money. You're sitting at home injured, so you do need an income. And then we've travelled the world for 10 years, and trying to get that taken away from you is a massive thing mentally as well. And then trying to fight when you do get back on with your own mind that, all right, how do I not break my leg again first jump like Tui? It's like there's so much to it.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun.
Pardon the pun.
What is next for, like, do you have any sporting, like, outside of Nitro Circus? Do you have any competitions or anything coming up, or is there any likelihood of anything happening soon?
Yeah, not really. It's kind of just for me, the PT stuff. I just want to get back into training people now. I'm in a better place. I didn't really, when I was going through the rough time with COVID and then the show, it wasn't a good spot for me to be training people when, I don't know, you need to be a motivating person, kind of in a good mindset yourself. So now I'm back 100%. I'll get back into some training, and if I've got to further educate myself to get somewhere further in fitness, I'll do that. Bit of the online stuff. And then obviously, I feel like I could ride for another 10 years. So just keep pushing through with Nitro year to year with the COVID and everything, and see how my body holds up. But yeah, that's kind of my future plans.
Yeah, I think COVID, like, trying to take the positive for our athletes, these guys, they're so much more than athletes. These are my best friends, all these guys, and we kind of we chat regularly, and we just try and keep their spirits up. It probably has extended their earning capacity lifespan on the bike, a year of not taking these bumps and bruises. But I look at other things, like obviously that fitness stuff, Matty. You probably wouldn't have got a chance to kind of form what you've formed with your new partner without COVID, right? So, and I think the same applies to me, actually. So, like, when you look at it like that, like, I just love seeing you and hearing how good a headspace you are actually in.
Yeah, she'd be happy to hear that because she says the same thing. It's like, I whinge about not being on tour, COVID, not being like doing this and that. But because of COVID, I did meet Kim, and she's super driven and exact same sort of person I am. Is like, don't want to just settle for a 9 to 5 working for the man. So she's got businesses and helps me push with any business ideas I got, and we just work really well together. So I think the back of not riding and being a bit down, so much good of it did come. And now the reality is I had to have a career after riding anyway. So it's kind of forced me to think about that more and get in a good position to make that happen.
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps, man, because like I said, Matty came on board at the end of the first Nitro Circus tour in June 2010, and obviously just a kid, you were what, 18 or 19, and to see these guys kind of develop, and particularly what Matt has been through with the reality TV stuff and everything else, man, it's absolute credit, and I think people can take a lot of inspiration from you on and off the bike. So well done, buddy.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
And I think with that being said, I don't know what else we really need to chat.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten a really good insight into where you're at, and I think I'm happy leaving this conversation knowing that you're in a good headspace, and we will probably do a check-in soon and check back in and see what's happening. Maybe if you start riding again, or once sort of fitness stuff gets going. But I do have a question. What's it like being in a fully open state?
It's great. Other than like the loss of income and like travel and stuff with riding, it doesn't even feel like we're in a pandemic here because we're living pretty normal. I've had 3 holidays recently. Fuck
off. Oh, mate. All right. You know what? You're not going to get out of it then. Did anyone pay? Who paid for those holidays?
Yeah, so companies been paying from like the hotels, or other companies been paying like if they can come take photos of me and Kim, and they've actually offered us a deal. We're going to sit down and talk to them for when states and borders do open, to be on a monthly salary, and just they fly us when they need us to do photos and kind of fly us around the world and shoot us in different spots as a couple.
That's so good.
I think, you know, like, lots of people, including myself, like take the piss out of like the term influencers, but it is like it's a proper industry, and that's why like, and I didn't talk about it earlier. Erin Molan, who most of you probably have heard of her. She's a Channel 9 sports reporter, and she's been victimized online for 10 plus years, basically for being a good looking blonde who knows a lot of stuff about sport, and that makes her a target, particularly of men. It's disgusting. And she said she's been told, like, just ignore it, get off social media, which is complete bullshit, because like, look at you right now, you and Kim right now, you're using social media to earn money. It's not, it's like, and she said, like, people making these comments, if their mother, their father, their partner, or their boss at work saw any one of these comments, what would happen to that person?
Yeah,
they wouldn't have a job. Their partner would leave them, and their parents would be absolutely ashamed of them. So social media, the reality is, it's a place where people earn good money, and it's a place where people should just be fucking nice.
Yeah. It's a huge industry, I think. And for yourself, like, if you build a following and something, the term influencer, you're going to get paid trips, you're going to get free whatever you want, and some companies will pay you. Yeah. But go do your own thing. Like my little online, me and Kim actually have a new business we've been working on for a month that's coming out next couple of months. Kim's got her own clothing business dropping this week, like, then her own hair salon like that. She pushes all through her own social medias, and we're about to do the same with this new business. And it's insane because you're doing what you do for other companies for yourself, and you're the income and the results. And it's crazy. Like, how much did you used to pay to get an ad in a magazine, and it went to God, like, no one. This is the amount of people that can go to.
Look at him. He's talking marketing right now, and he's absolutely right, because the magazine industry is dead. And TV advertising is not far behind, and that's where people want to spend money on social media platforms and online advertising generally. And what better advertisement than someone like him drinking cocktails by cans, ball resort at 7 a.m. in the morning. Happy fucking days.
Yeah, I'd swap places any day.
Good luck to anyone who can get paid to do that.
This must be like seeing your son graduate.
Yeah, it is.
You must be proud.
Yeah, it is. And I know, and Matty and I have like, I've got like this super good connection with all the Aussie BMXers, because it's kind of weird. Like, with all due respect, they're not super well educated in the sense, like when you and I were 16 and 17 doing our HSC, guys like Matt Whyatt were 16 traveling, living in North Carolina, a group of 16-year-olds. So they were chasing this BMX passion very early in their lives. That was, people were telling them then they were never going to make a career and you're stupid to not care at school. All guys like him have proved it wrong, and now they're just kind of having to reinvent themselves through COVID for the stage 2 of their life. So I love, like, I had a good chat with Toddy Mine on the way up here, Matty, who's another one of the BMXers who's got this kind of life after BMX, like a plan in place, and he's going to be our next guest, I think. I just love watching these guys develop as human beings.
Yeah.
Like, put all the action sports stuff aside, I think, like, just Matty as a human and how far he's come from a little rat bag 10 years ago to just like a very articulate, like, you wouldn't think he was a high school dropout because he's very well spoken. And
Life experience is everything. It's like from 16 to having to learn everything by yourself, how to learn to self-market yourself. I've never had a manager. I've had to learn it all myself. To do every deal I've ever done myself, every Nitro deal, every sponsor deal, I've gone from not knowing how to spell anything to teach myself to spell a little bit. To learning a bit about, like, marketing and stuff now, and just also learning, like, just because we created a following around this little industry, like BMX is a pin dot in the whole world. Like, if you brand, and like with me with fitness, it does relate back to BMX, but now it's so much broader.
Well, that's it. And that's what I said earlier in the episode. You are now, like, you're kind of in the, like, there's Travis Pastrana and Ryan Williams area where you are known well outside of the action sports industry. And that's step one in making it in life after action sports, because it's like a professional sportsman in any sport. Your earning capacity time frame is very limited. So
make the most of it.
Make the most of it. So take those Long Island iced teas at the Cairns Resort or wherever it might be. Like, you can go anywhere in Queensland. It's fucked. Where can we go? Broken Hill,
Central Coast.
What's Mount Druitt?
Drinking that Long Island iced teas is like also another way. Like, you sit and talk to people, and these company that flew us there, like EDM TV, like, they got massive plans for things so much broader than, like, fitness, like holiday, everything. And then for me to sit there and show, they didn't even know what BMX was. They had no idea. I showed them, they were absolutely mind blown. They're like, oh, we can add this to our whole thing. We can fly around the world and do any part of the world and add it to our music videos, add it to this. We've never even seen this. They didn't even know what Nitro was. They had no idea. And they're mind blown. And they're, like, so much, I don't know, broader, like the music industry and everything they're in, and travel is so big, but no one's ever showed them this, and it just fits in with, I don't know, the EDM music they're doing, with having some action sports behind it, like the bungee jump, front flip bungee jump thing. I'm just like, this was perfect. So
I call EDM early dementia music because it fucking makes my ears bleed. But more power to you, buddy. Hey, dude, I just want to say, man, I've said it before already on this podcast. I'm so proud of you, dude. Like, you've just risen above a whole bunch of shit. It's been like a tough time, but it's made you so much stronger. And it's like, I love the fact that you're a better man with a better woman behind you now, and you're doing all the right things in life. True inspiration. So, Matty, thanks, dude, for coming on. I know you're a busy man. You've got to go and do a whole heap of business stuff after this. You called me before. I
got all these orders and stuff.
Oh my God.
I've been put to work today.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean, dude. Like, look at that guy. Like, even 3 years ago, he would be like not doing that, not on tour. He would be at the bar hungover. Like, he'd still be doing his fitness, but he'd be running amok. And it's just, And the fact that you even just talked about marketing, it's like just fucking.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. I feel like COVID has been the pause button that a lot of people need, and you've definitely made the most out of it.
Yeah, for sure. It has been, and it's like it does suck in. Like what you see right now, you go, oh, I could have done this tour, could have done this and had this in the bank. Obviously, that's not there, but 10, 20 years from now, I think it's helped people a lot because now it's like, all right, what's the plan when this does end?
Yeah, exactly. And you see a guy like hold himself like that when Nitro Circus and other action sports tours and events get back up and running. There's going to be not enough jobs for everyone. And you see a guy like that and that attitude, it's like he's almost the first guy picked. So Matty, keep doing what you're doing, dude. Keep rising above. Keep being just a champion bloke because, mate, I love the shit out of you and your journey's been incredible, but there's a lot of it still to go. So, dude, thank you. Get down and get that business website set up, mate. Yes, go.
Will do.
Good to meet you, mate. I'll speak to you later.
Thank you.
Legendary, Matty. Catch you, dude.
Yeah.
Bye.